Hey there, my wonderful and beautiful friends. Welcome back to another epic episode of Pro Revenge Stories, where betrayal meets justice, and where those who think they've won are about to learn just how wrong they are. Trust me, today's story will hit you in the heart, break it into pieces, and then slowly stitch it back together with one of the most powerful acts of revenge I've ever shared on this channel. So grab your snacks, sit back, and let's dive in. There are moments in life when your entire world can be destroyed with just a single phone call. For Heather, that moment came 2 months ago. Her husband, Tim, the man she believed was her soulmate, the very center of her universe, died suddenly in a senseless car accident. A rainy highway, bad conditions, nothing anyone could have prevented. From that day forward, Heather's life stopped. She woke up every morning in a bed that felt empty. She went to sleep every night whispering his name, still expecting him to be there. People told her, "Time heals all wounds." But what do you do when time itself feels frozen? The days passed in slow motion. The house, once full of laughter, felt like a museum of memories. His mug still in the cupboard, his clothes still in the closet, their wedding photo on the wall, mocking her with happiness that now felt like it belonged to a stranger. She shut herself off from the world. No friends, no family, no energy. Just grief swallowing her whole. Until one afternoon, her phone rang. The screen lit up with a name that made her heart skip. Jenny. Jenny, her younger sister. The golden child of the family. Beautiful, outgoing, confident, everything Heather felt she never was. The two were never particularly close. Jenny lived her own bright life, while Heather always felt more grounded, more quiet. So when Jenny's name appeared, it felt unusual, almost suspicious. Still, Heather answered. "Hey, Heather." Jenny's voice chimed, cheerful as ever. "Next Sunday, we're throwing a party for little Matt. His first birthday. You have to come." Heather froze. Matt. Her nephew. The child she had never even met. At first, she hesitated. Could she really walk into a joyful party like that, dressed in grief, carrying all this sorrow inside? Wouldn't she just drag everyone down? But then, maybe this was her chance. Maybe it was time. Maybe reconnecting with her family could be the first step toward healing. So she forced herself. She went into town, searching for the perfect gift. She finally chose a sterling silver dinnerware set from a prestigious jeweler. Heavy, elegant, a symbol of a bright future. As she carried it out of the shop, she thought, "Yes, this is it. I can do this. Maybe this is the start of something new." But little did Heather know that birthday party wasn't going to be a healing moment. It was a trap. A cruel trap that would destroy everything she thought she knew. The day of the party arrived. Heather wore a black dress, simple, somber, respectful. But as soon as Jenny's front door swung open, Heather felt out of place. Inside, the house was decorated like a fairy tale. Balloons, pastel garlands, a dessert table filled with colorful sweets. The rooms were packed with elegantly dressed guests, Jenny's friends, distant relatives. Music, laughter, perfume filled the air. Heather, in her black dress, felt like a shadow among them. A mourner at a funeral in the middle of a carnival. Jenny, glowing in a body-hugging dress and flawless makeup, rushed over to greet her. "Heather, you made it." She hugged her, eyes instantly sliding to the gift bag in Heather's hand.
"Oh, wow.
"What's this?" Heather managed a small smile. "It's just a little present for Matt." Jenny laughed lightly, took the bag, and with a theatrical gesture placed it on the overflowing gift table. And just like that, she was gone, whisked away into the crowd again. That was it. That was their reunion. Heather felt drained, but she stayed. She told herself she could do this. Then Jenny tapped a microphone. Ting, ting, ting. The music stopped. Dozens of eyes turned to her. Jenny smiled sweetly. Everyone, thank you for coming today to celebrate my little Matt's first birthday. I'm so grateful to have you all here. Warm applause filled the room. But then, Jenny's eyes flickered toward Heather. Cold. Calculating. And on this special day, Jenny continued, her tone shifting ever so slightly, I want to share something very important with you all. She took a deep breath. The room leaned in. Until today, I've kept this a secret. But the truth is, Matt's real father is the man who tragically died 2 months ago. My brother-in-law, Tim. Heather's husband. The room gasped. Glasses froze in midair. Conversations died. And then, all eyes turned to Heather. Her blood turned to ice. Jenny wasn't done. She continued, her words sharp as knives. As Tim's only child, Matt is entitled to half of Tim's estate. That includes the $250,000 he left behind. And yes, the house Heather currently lives in. Heather staggered forward, whispering, No, no, this must be some kind of mistake. Tim would never. But Jenny was ready. With a cruel smile, she pulled out her phone. Photo after photo. Tim with Jenny at restaurants, at hotels, kissing, holding hands. Jenny curled up asleep in Tim's car. Then the messages. I can't keep lying to Heather. Jenny, you're the only one I love. I swear I'll tell her before the baby is born. Heather's heart collapsed. The man she loved, the husband she trusted. While she endured painful infertility treatments, he was planning a new family with her own sister. She turned desperately to her parents. Mom? Dad? Please say something. Tell me this isn't true. But her mother looked away. Her father sighed heavily. And then he admitted it. They had known. For 7 months. The betrayal hit harder than any car accident. Harder than death itself. Heather realized the truth. Not one person in this room was on her side. Not her husband. Not her sister. Not her parents. She wasn't just grieving a death anymore. She was grieving her entire family. And in that moment, something inside her snapped. She ran. Out of the house. Out of the nightmare. She drove home, barely remembering the road. And when she finally collapsed on her sofa, surrounded by photos and clothes that now felt like lies, something cold began to grow inside her. Not grief, not sorrow, but anger. Heather spent that night shaking, crying, and screaming into her pillow. Her mind kept replaying Jenny's words, the photos, the messages, her parents' silence. But after the tears came silence. And in that silence, something inside her hardened. If Jenny wanted to fight over Tim's estate, then Heather was going to fight back. Not with gossip, not with emotion, but with the cold, sharp weapon of the law. The very next morning, she called her lawyer. The battle began. Jenny, greedy and arrogant, wasted no time. She filed a lawsuit demanding half of everything. Tim's savings, his investments, even Heather's house. She strutted into court with her glossy hair and smug smile, carrying Matt on her hip like a golden ticket. But Heather wasn't alone either. She had her lawyer by her side and a folder. A very thick folder. At first, the case looked like it might lean in Jenny's favor. After all, she had the photos, the texts, proof of the affair, proof that Matt was Tim's son. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Reporters even began sniffing around. It looked like Heather might lose everything, her money, her home, her dignity. But then, Heather's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we have some evidence to submit. One by one, documents were placed before the judge. Bank statements, credit card records, hotel receipts. The story they told? That Tim's so-called relationship with Jenny wasn't love. It was manipulation. Jenny had drained him, demanding gifts, luxury hotels, expensive dinners. She wasn't an innocent mother fighting for her son's rights. She was a con artist milking a married man for cash. But Heather wasn't done. Her lawyer then presented something even more damning: medical records. Proof that Heather and Tim had been undergoing fertility treatments. Expensive, exhausting treatments. Proof that Tim had still been trying to build a future with Heather, even while Jenny claimed he was planning to leave her. The courtroom shifted. Jenny's smug smile began to crack. But the final blow was yet to come. Heather's lawyer called a witness, a close friend of Tim's. He took the stand, voice steady, and revealed messages Tim had sent him in private. Messages confessing guilt, saying he had made a mistake, that Jenny was a fling, a weakness, nothing more, that he loved Heather truly and wanted to rebuild with her. The courtroom fell silent. Jenny's face went pale. Her lies were unraveling before everyone's eyes. When the judge finally spoke, his words echoed like a hammer. Given the evidence, it is clear that Jenny manipulated the deceased for personal gain. Her claims to the estate are denied. Custody and inheritance rights for the child do not extend beyond standard support. The estate remains with the legal widow, Heather. It was over. Heather had won. Jenny stormed out of the courtroom, hissing threats, her parents trailing behind her in shame. The same parents who had betrayed Heather now looked small, broken, avoiding her gaze. They had chosen the wrong side. Heather walked out of that courthouse taller than she had ever stood. But revenge wasn't finished yet. The weeks that followed were quiet. For the first time since Tim's death, Heather felt free. The grief was still there, yes, but now it was mixed with something else. Strength. Independence. She sold the house. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She didn't want to live surrounded by ghosts and lies. With the money, she moved into a new place. Bright, open, hers alone. She started therapy. She started traveling. She started saying yes to life again. And then one afternoon at a community charity event, she met someone. A man named David. A widower himself. Kind eyes. A quiet smile. The type of man who listened more than he spoke. Their bond grew slowly. Naturally. No secrets. No betrayals. A year later, Heather stood at the altar again. This time, not with a man who lied and cheated, but with one who cherished her. Her parents? They weren't there. Jenny? Of course not. And you know what? Heather didn't miss them. Because this time, her family wasn't built on blood. It was built on choice. And that, my friends, is the story of how Heather transformed the deepest betrayal into the ultimate revenge. She didn't just win in court. She won in life. She proved that even when the people closest to you stab you in the back, you can still rise, rebuild, and find happiness again. So remember this. Revenge isn't always about destruction. Sometimes, the greatest revenge is living a better life than your enemies ever dreamed you could.